welcome back to Talk of the Town. Mitch Albom has had 7 consecutive New York Times bestsellers, including the best-selling memoir of all time, Tuesdays with Morrie. 4 of his books have been made into acclaimed TV films. With his latest bestseller, the longtime musician, we say here, has written a story unlike anything else he's ever done before, one that truly speaks to his first love, music. And we're very happy to have Mitch Albom joining us live in studio.
Hello. We've
had you on satellite before, but first time in studio, so good to have you with us today.
This is just as I imagined it.
Yeah, just as you imagined. Hey, and you were also in town because you had a big book signing last night, so you got to meet and greet folks here in Nashville. Hopefully that went well.
It did, very well, thanks.
Good, good. So let's talk about the book here. You are a syndicated sports writer, successful there, but a lot of folks may not necessarily know about the musician aspect of things. So if you will, talk about being this musician who became a sports writer.
Well, I first started in music. That's what I wanted to do. That's where I thought my talent was, and it turned out I had a little more talent in storytelling and writing. Ever since I wrote the book Tuesdays with Morrie, people have been saying to me that book changed my life, and I always wondered, well, how can a book change somebody's life? But over time, I've come to realize that the gifts that we have, the talents we have, actually do change people's lives. You change people's lives here with your talent to interview, and you bring information to people. Everybody has something. So I wrote a story about a guitar player who's so good, so talented, that his music actually physically changes people's lives, and each time he does, one of his strings turns blue, and then it kind of disappears. So he gets 6 chances for 6 strings over the course of his life to change people's lives with his talent, and his name is Frankie Presto.
All right, so talk a little bit more about that, because I guess that's the story of this one, which is the magic strings of Frankie Presto. Right. So talk a bit more about the story, and I guess why it is then you decided to have this book centered around the music.
Well, as I said, I love music, and I think it speaks to us on a certain level, but Frankie Presto was the most gifted musician to ever come out of the womb. He grabbed more music talent than Bach or Mozart combined. And the story takes him from the time he's born in Spain all the way through, basically a backdrop of the 20th century. So it's sort of like Forrest Gump. He's fictional, he's magical, but everything else in it is real. He's in Duke Ellington's band when he's a child. He comes to Nashville and tries to get on the Grand Ole Opry when he's 15 years old. He's in. He tells Little Richard to record Tutti Frutti. He's in Elvis Presley's band and takes over for him one night when he's the first Elvis impersonator to ever exist. He's at Woodstock, etc. So if you like music and like that backdrop, you're going to see him historically with all these people, and actually had real musicians participate in the book as themselves, telling stories about when they met Frankie Presto, when they were in Frankie Presto's band, when they helped Frankie Presto. But underneath all of it is the message that we can affect other people with the gifts that we have, whatever those gifts are.
So as we always say here, there's always a Nashville connection.
Yeah, well, there is in music, right?
And if you will talk a little bit about the soundtrack, because usually we think of soundtracks with movies.
That's right.
But this book actually has a soundtrack, and you wrote the lyrics for that soundtrack.
Yeah, a lot of the musicians who agreed to be in the book then said, well, you know what, we can make an album out of this. So they took the songs that Frankie Presto supposedly recorded, which I made up, their titles and their lyrics, and they put real music to them and recorded them. So they were basically making remakes of songs that never existed before. And we have a full album, and Matt Carney, who lives here in Nashville, does the lead song on it, and Ingrid Michaelson and Sawyer Fredericks, who won The Voice, and John Pizzarelli, Tony Bennett's on it, Burt Bacharach, all these great artists. And so Frankie Presto sort of has an actual soundtrack life that you can get, download anywhere and have the music to go along with the book.
All right, fantastic. So may make a great Christmas gift for somebody out there. Hey, thank you very much for sharing this story with us and being with us today. Look for The Magic Strings of Frankie Presto wherever books are sold, and also check out that soundtrack as well.